What if I told you that the trash sitting in your home right now could transform your backyard into a real-life fairy tale? Most people throw it away, but today, I'll show you how to turn it into something magical. Don't blink, because the first idea might change the way you see trash forever. Welcome to Backyard Fortune, a channel where we turn ordinary waste into extraordinary garden creations. In this video, we'll explore 10 recycled DIY ideas that you can bring to life in your own backyard. We've added timestamps so you can jump to your favorite parts, and if you have questions, drop them in the comments. If you enjoy this, let your creativity flow and try it yourself. Even the simplest steps can create magic. Maybe to you, I'm just another face on a screen. But behind every video, there's a family holding on to a dream. When you subscribe, comment, or like, you're not just supporting content. You're helping keep a small dream alive, one click at a time. Thank you for being here, and thank you for seeing me. One, flower tire garden beds. Old tires that once seemed destined for the landfill can become the heartbeat of a thriving garden. With just a little imagination, color, and patience, they transform into cheerful raised beds that not only hold soil but also hold stories. Look at how these tires, painted in coral red, turquoise blue, and sunflower yellow, suddenly bloom into flower-shaped frames. Within their curves, tomato plants rise proudly, marigolds spill bright orange petals, and basil releases a fragrance that drifts with the breeze. Bees hum busily between blossoms, reminding us that even the simplest recycled materials can become part of nature's rhythm. In another corner, discarded tires are given a softer touch. Instead of bright solids, they are hand-painted with delicate flowers and butterflies, turning black rubber into living art. Basil and rosemary find their place in these circular cradles, while sturdy tomato vines climb upward with the help of garden stakes. When butterflies actually land on the painted wings beneath them, it feels as though the artwork has come alive. This is the quiet magic of recycling. It blurs the line between what is real and what is imagined. Further along, pastel-painted tires in mint green, lavender, and sunshine yellow form little islands of food and beauty. Tomatoes blush with ripeness, strawberries peek out from their leaves, and sunflowers stretch happily toward the sky. Around them, butterflies flicker like sparks of light, weaving through the air as if they, too, are drawn to the joyful colors. These garden beds are not only functional, they are living proof that sustainability can be beautiful, and that color has the power to lift the spirit of a space. What makes these creations inspiring is their simplicity. The steps are approachable. Clean an old tire, give it a coat of weather-resistant paint, arrange it flat or stack it in layers, fill it with rich soil, and plant what you love. Whether it's tomatoes, herbs, or bright flowers, the tires provide warmth, protection, and structure for your plants. Add a splash of color and you suddenly have a garden corner that feels like stepping into a storybook. The secret is not perfection but creativity. Some choose bold, solid colors that celebrate summer energy. Others paint delicate patterns that whisper of handmade care. And the beauty is that both approaches work. By reusing tires in this way, you not only save waste from piling up but also gain a garden that feels vibrant, personal, and full of life. So the next time you see an old tire, don't see trash. See the potential for a garden bed that glows with color and abundance. With your hands and imagination, you can turn what was once forgotten into a space that feeds both body and soul. That is the quiet promise of recycling. It teaches us that beauty and growth are always possible, even in the most unexpected places. bottle bird bath rain feeder. A simple plastic bottle, once tossed aside without thought, now hangs gracefully from a tree branch, transformed into a gift for both garden and wildlife. The cut edge forms a shallow pool that glitters in the sunlight, inviting sparrows and finches to rest their wings. They perch gently on the rim, dipping their beaks, splashing water into the air, and sending droplets cascading down onto tomato vines and basil plants below. With every flutter, it feels as though the garden is being blessed by a tiny summer rain. This little invention is more than decoration. It is a working system that helps both plants and creatures thrive. As the bottle sways softly in the breeze, chamomile flowers dance underneath, their white petals catching drops of water, while bees hum close by. The balance is simple yet profound. A recycled object now provides refreshment for birds, pollination for flowers, and a gentle watering for herbs and vegetables. The charm lies in how accessible this idea truly is. Anyone can make it. Take a bottle, cut it with care, tie it with rustic twine, and let it become part of your garden's rhythm. Paint it with soft colors if you wish, add a personal touch of flowers or vines across its surface, and suddenly what was once waste becomes a piece of art. The sound of wings, the sparkle of water, and the fragrance of rosemary and basil create an atmosphere that feels like stepping into a real-life fairy tale. In a world where waste piles high, it is refreshing to remember that beauty can be reborn in such humble ways. This bird bath does not just serve the sparrows, it becomes a reminder that creativity can turn even the simplest things into magic. When you look at it closely, with birds fluttering and droplets falling, you realize it is not just recycling, it is renewal, a story of how life continues when we choose to see potential in what others throw away. Three, rustic barrel barbecue grill. From a forgotten barrel and a pair of discarded car rims comes something that feels both rustic and magical, a handmade garden grill that becomes the center of every gathering. Its surface, once worn and rusty, now carries bright hand-painted flames that flicker even before the fire is lit inside. As the charcoal glows, smoke drifts lazily into the summer air, curling around rosemary, thyme, and basil planted close to the grill. Their fragrance mixes with the scent of sizzling food, creating an aroma that feels like home. What makes this idea so inspiring is its honesty. It doesn't try to hide its recycled roots. The barrel still shows its rugged texture, the rims still glint with their old shine, but together they are given a new story. It is not only about cooking, it is about transformation, about turning what once was scrap metal into the soul of a garden evening. Around this grill, life unfolds naturally. Friends gather with plates in hand, laughter weaving through the smoke as stories are shared over crackling coals. At dusk, fireflies begin to dance near the flowers, while lanterns glow softly in the grass. Children chase butterflies in the twilight, their laughter echoing against the rhythm of sizzling food. The old barrel, once silent and unused, now burns with purpose, feeding both stomachs and spirits. Creating something like this is not as complicated as it might seem. With a sturdy barrel, old car rims, and some basic welding, you can craft a grill that is not only functional but also deeply personal. Add a touch of paint, surround it with herbs or flowers, and suddenly it becomes more than a barbecue. It becomes a centerpiece, a reason to gather, and a symbol of creativity reborn from waste. This is the quiet magic of recycling, the power to turn overlooked objects into moments that matter. In the glow of firelight, with family and friends close by, the grill stands as proof that beauty and utility can come from the simplest of beginnings. And in that moment, with good food, fragrant herbs, and laughter all around, You realize it's not just a grill, it's a story of renewal written in smoke and flame. Four, scrap metal snake sculpture. In the quiet edge of a garden path, where marigolds burn orange and lavender sways in the breeze, something unexpected coils between the flowers. A serpent, not of flesh but of metal, winds gracefully along the soil. Its body is crafted from discarded bike chains, bolts, and gears, painted with shimmering strokes of turquoise, copper, and gold. In the sunlight, it glimmers like a living jewel, a playful guardian hidden among the blossoms. Children stop in their steps, curiosity written across their faces. They lean in to see how the pieces of scrap, once dull and forgotten, have been welded into scales that ripple like the skin of a real snake. Bees drift lazily nearby, butterflies land on foxglove blooms, and for a moment the sculpture feels as though it might stir, slithering quietly into the shade. It is not frightening. Instead, it is enchanting, a reminder that even cold metal can find warmth in the heart of a garden. The secret of this creation lies in its balance of imagination and craft. With nothing more than old chains, screws, and bearings, an artist can shape something that speaks to both nature and story. A careful touch of paint brings the piece alive, blending its industrial roots with the garden's soft colors. Placed among herbs like basil and salvia, the snake looks at home, as though it has always been part of this living space. What makes this idea powerful is its accessibility. Anyone with spare scrap metal and a bit of creativity can attempt it. The process is simple in concept, welding pieces together, shaping curves, painting with care, but the result is transformative. A pile of waste becomes a sculpture that sparks wonder, conversation, and delight. It proves that art does not need to come from expensive materials. Sometimes, the most magical things are born from what others throw away. As twilight settles and the flowers close, the metal snake rests quietly, reflecting the last golden rays of the sun. It doesn't move, but it doesn't need to. Its presence tells a story, that even the most unlikely materials can find new life, that beauty can emerge from rust, and that a garden is not just a place for plants, but also for imagination. And in that stillness, surrounded by fragrance, color, and the hum of summer life, you understand. This is more than recycling. It is enchantment, written in steel and sunlight. Five, PVC honeycomb hydroponics. The charm of this design lies in how something so industrial, like leftover PVC pipes, can be reborn into a structure that feels alive, playful, and deeply connected to nature. Imagine standing before a garden wall where every cell of a honeycomb-shaped frame bursts with life: lush basil, fragrant thyme, bright green lettuce, and strawberries that dangle like jewels. The pipes, once destined for waste, are painted in pastel tones of mint, pink, and yellow, transforming them into a patchwork of color that brightens even the dullest corner of a backyard. Water trickles gently through hidden tubes, circulating in a rhythm that mimics the quiet heartbeat of the garden itself. With every drop, the herbs are nourished, their leaves shining with morning dew that glimmers under sunlight. Butterflies float lazily above the blossoms, bees dip into tiny white flowers, and the air is thick with the scent of mint and parsley. It feels both enchanting and attainable, a small reminder that sustainability doesn't have to be complicated. It can be joyful, creative, and even magical. This kind of hydroponic honeycomb is more than just practical gardening. It is storytelling through design. It turns the simple act of growing food into an art piece, blending utility with beauty. It whispers the promise that anyone, with just a bit of imagination and a few discarded materials, can craft a vertical oasis that brings both harvest and wonder. And in the glow of golden sunlight, it stands not just as a garden feature, but as proof that even the plainest materials can bloom into something extraordinary. Six, melted plastic garden creatures. In a corner of the backyard, the garden seems to have turned into a fairy tale world, alive with colors and imagination. Among rows of basil, marigolds, and ripening tomatoes, little creatures appear as if they've wandered in from a storybook. They are not made of fur or feathers but from melted plastic, reshaped into forms that bring joy: bright-eyed birds with glossy purple wings, pastel-colored rabbits with upright ears, and green-striped caterpillars coiled like living jewels. Their shiny surfaces catch the sunlight, shimmering pink, yellow, and emerald, making them sparkle playfully against the deep brown soil. As butterflies flutter down onto blossoms and bees weave gently through the air, these quirky sculptures seem almost alive. Children crouch close, their laughter blending with the buzz of pollinators as they discover each hidden figure between the plants. The playful arrangement feels less like decoration and more like guardians of the garden, watchful, magical, and full of charm. By reusing melted plastic, waste that once seemed useless has been transformed into something enchanting, blending seamlessly with flowers and herbs. At sunset, the figures glow faintly, their whimsical shapes framed by sunflowers and lavender, making the entire garden feel like a secret world. This is the beauty of creative recycling, where trash becomes wonder, and a garden becomes more than just a space for plants. It becomes a realm of imagination, alive with stories waiting to be told. Seven, floating paper bag origami. In a quiet corner of the garden, something simple and unexpected becomes magical. Old paper bags, folded patiently into birds and blossoms, now dance softly in the summer air. They hang from branches and wooden beams, their creases catching the light, their shadows gliding across the herbs below. What was once waste now carries new meaning, suspended between earth and sky like gentle whispers of creativity. Terracotta pots brim with basil, rosemary, and chamomile, their fragrance carried by the breeze to mingle with the papery rustle overhead. Butterflies drift through lavender and daisies, pausing as if curious about these paper companions that seem to have learned how to fly again. Some still carry faint words or patterns from their past life as grocery bags, adding a hidden story to their graceful presence. This is not just decoration, it is a reminder. A reminder that beauty does not always need to be bought, that even the most ordinary scraps can take on new life with a little imagination. By hanging them among your plants, you create more than art. You weave together a living fairy tale scene, where sunlight, herbs, and recycled paper whisper the same truth. Nothing is ever truly wasted. Eight, cardboard animal wall trophy. In a quiet backyard, creativity comes alive in the most unexpected forms. Here, cardboard, so often discarded without thought, takes on a new life as animal wall trophies, each carefully layered and shaped into antelope, deer, or bear heads. Their ridged edges reveal the humble origins of the material, but with a touch of paint and imagination, they transform into guardians of the garden. Soft floral motifs in pastel hues climb across their surfaces, blending seamlessly with ivy that creeps along pergola beams or rustic wooden fences. As the sun shifts across the sky, golden light filters through leaves, casting delicate shadows that make these cardboard creatures seem as though they might stir at any moment. Around them, clay pots brim with lavender, thyme, and basil, releasing fragrance into the air, while butterflies dance among the blossoms. Even simple linen flags swaying in the breeze seem to nod in approval, celebrating this marriage of art and recycling. What might once have been seen as trash now becomes a focal point, an enchanting sculpture wall where nature and creativity meet. These cardboard trophies remind us that beauty often hides in the simplest materials, waiting only for a patient hand and a spark of imagination to bring it to life. A garden adorned with such creations feels like a fairy tale brought into reality, where even the walls tell stories of reinvention and wonder. Nine. Geometric cardboard shadow lamp. As the day softens into evening, something enchanting begins to stir in the garden. At the center of a humble wooden table sits a lamp unlike any other, crafted entirely from recycled cardboard, cut into geometric shapes, and pieced together with patience and imagination. When the bulb inside begins to glow, the light escapes in honeycomb and floral patterns, spilling across terracotta pots of rosemary and mint. The shadows dance on the wooden wall like nature's own stained glass, simple waste reborn into a beacon of warmth. In another corner, the story continues. A cardboard lantern with intricate designs rests on the stone path, glowing like a jewel at twilight. Its patterns scatter across wicker baskets filled with herbs, while butterflies linger in the dusk, as if drawn to the gentle light. What was once just a forgotten scrap of packaging has become a sculpture of light and shadow, transforming the air into something magical, alive with movement and wonder. And then, deeper into the garden, another creation glimmers. Its triangular facets catch the eye, throwing bold, angular shadows across basil and oregano pots placed nearby. The raw texture of cardboard is still visible, a reminder of its humble origin, yet here it radiates like a treasure. The lamp doesn't simply illuminate the plants, it brings them into a dialogue with light, turning an ordinary evening into a stage where leaves glisten, shadows sway, and silence feels sacred. The beauty of these lamps is not just in their glow, but in the story they tell. They remind us that with imagination, patience, and the courage to see possibility in what others call waste, we can create something extraordinary. A piece of cardboard that once held groceries or parcels now holds light, memory, and magic. This is the heart of DIY, practical, achievable, and deeply rewarding. With a bit of effort, anyone can turn discarded materials into something that doesn't just decorate a garden, but transforms it into a fairy tale sanctuary where light and life meet in harmony. Ten. Wine bottle pathway lights. As twilight settles over the backyard, the pathway begins to glow with a quiet magic. Wine bottles, once destined for the recycling bin, now stand proudly transformed into luminous lanterns. Each glass vessel, inverted and anchored into hand-cast cement bases, bends the soft golden light into emerald halos that shimmer across moss-lined stones. Marigolds bloom in fiery rows along the edges, their petals catching the glow, while scattered rose leaves dot the ground like confetti from nature itself. Fireflies drift lazily in the dusk air, their flickering light blending with the steady warmth of the bottle lamps, creating a rhythm of stillness and sparkle that feels almost alive. The beauty of this idea lies not just in its charm but in its simplicity. By reusing wine bottles and pairing them with cement or clay molds, anyone can create a pathway that feels both rustic and refined. The green glass naturally softens and scatters the light, offering a soothing ambience perfect for summer evenings or late-night garden strolls. Around the edges, chamomile, basil, and wildflowers lean toward the glow, their scents mingling with the cool air as butterflies and crickets lend their quiet company. With each step, the path feels like a gentle invitation deeper into a hidden fairyland, proof that even something as ordinary as an empty bottle can, with a touch of creativity, lead you into a storybook world right in your own backyard. And that's the beauty of it. From simple trash, we've created 10 ideas that can light up your backyard with magic and meaning. Which one will you try first? Tell me in the comments, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who needs inspiration, and subscribe to join this little family of dreamers. Together, we're turning waste into wonder, one garden at a time.